Today, boys and girls, I have a very unique book to share with you. Unique means it looks a little bit different, and I'm going to show you how in a minute. The things that we're going to learn this week with your teachers and at home are about the illustrations. Last week, we learned that illustrators draw the pictures and authors write the words. In this book, I Walk with Vanessa, the author and the illustrator is one person. It is by Kara Scotti. And they are the author and the illustrator. So, in this story, we're going to learn about a girl named Vanessa, and it's called I Walk with Vanessa. It's a story about a simple act of kindness. This right here is the, I bet you know. The title. The words that are usually bigger is the title of the book. So, what we're going to do this week is we're going to get our magnifying glass out, just like this little boy has right here, or little girl, and we are going to be reading detectives. I want us to look in this story today. What is happening in the illustrations? So we're going to look at the illustrations and see if we can guess what's going on in the story. And when we look carefully with our pretend magnifying glass, we're going to see what we notice. So what do you notice today in our story? So I'm going to show you my super cool book, and I want you to notice something. I'm going to have to hold it super close. Do you see any words on this page? What about the next page? That's right. This is a wordless book. You have to be a great reading detective to see what this story is about, because the only thing in this book are illustrations. This is called a picture book. We have to use our imagination and the pictures that give us clues to what the story is about. So let's take a look at the first page. I'm not going to talk on every page because I really want you to be that good detective and see what you notice. And Miss Baumgartner, she has to make sure she can get it in the picture for you. I will tell you this little girl right here is Vanessa, because that's the title of our book. And let's see what Vanessa is doing. Where do you think she may be going? I noticed something happening on this page. What do you see? I want you to notice the characters' emotions. This week, we're also going to be learning about characters' emotions. That's how the characters feel. We can usually see characters' emotions by their facial expressions, by the expressions that they're making, like these characters. That lets us know what they're feeling on the inside. Like I see maybe a little girl concerned here, a girl happy. This boy looks like he may be mad, and that's because I'm looking at their facial expressions, the way that they look on the outside. That's called their characteristics. So that's the way they look on the outside. And on the inside is how they feel. So in our page right here, I want you to see what's going on. Look at those characters' expressions. I notice that there looks like a little boy, and he's doing something to Vanessa. Now look at her expressions. I noticed another character in the story. I I notice this little girl in the yellow dress. See what she's doing and what the other students are doing. I believe they just got back from being in school. So Vanessa's going home. Now, we don't know the other characters' names in the story because, again, we're just looking at the illustrations. But we do know Vanessa's name because it tells us in the title. This is the other little girl in the yellow dress. What do you think she's thinking about? She's just seen something take place outside in their neighborhood. What do you think she's thinking about, or how do you think she's feeling? What do her emotions tell us? We're really looking at the illustrations to know what the story's about. And if you take the time to really look, I can tell what's going on in the story. So what's the little girl in the yellow dress going to do? Oh, I see other boys and girls joining in. And more. Oh my. And more. Look, this is where Vanessa is. It's hard to even see her or recognize her because there's so many boys and girls on this page. I wonder what they're doing. Stop and tell somebody at your house, what do you think they're doing with Vanessa? This page looks similar to the first page. But I want you to take a look back at the first page and look at Vanessa's emotions here. And now, look at them. Boys and girls, this book was about showing kindness to a new student whose first day was today at school, and that would be Vanessa. And it looks like there was a little boy who was bullying Vanessa. He wasn't being very kind to her, and that made her feel sad and maybe a little nervous to go back to school. He hurt her feelings. And the little girl in the yellow dress noticed it when nobody else did. They were just being bystanders or standing by and wouldn't say anything. But the girl in the yellow dress, she didn't like that. So she decided to think of something to help Vanessa feel better about going to school and showing her kindness. So what she did was she went and knocked on Vanessa's door to see if she could walk with her to school. And then all the other boys and girls, it looked like they joined in so that she would not feel nervous or scared to go back to school, that she could be brave. And they showed how one little act of kindness from the girl in the yellow dress grew and grew and grew into a big act of kindness because others saw that and wanted to do it too. So when you see someone being hurt or bullied, there's something that you can do no matter how big or small it is. As long as you are being kind, you can make a big difference to somebody who has felt hurt. And here are some suggestions. You can be friendly to that person to see if they maybe want to play games with you, Or you could walk them somewhere in the school building, like out to the playground, or maybe you're both a bus rider so that they don't feel nervous. And you can let them know that you are not going to join in when other people are being bullies or ugly to someone. Also, you might not know what to do, so ask an adult. That is something that you can do, someone you can trust, to say, hey, my friend's being bullied at school. What should I do? And I always want you to know that when you are helping someone or someone is needing help, it's not a tattle. Tattling is when you're trying to get someone else in trouble. Telling is when you're getting someone out of trouble. So telling means to get someone out of trouble. So just remember, like in our story, just by looking at our illustrations, that we saw that kindness multiplies. So we looked for those characters' emotions, and we kind of had to look at weather, the places, and colors for clues in the pictures. So that's also what illustrations help us do. I really enjoyed this book because I don't get to see very many picture books. So this week, you're really going to take a look this whole week at our book, I Walk with Vanessa, and talk about some of the emotions that we see on the characters' faces and some of the pictures and what that might mean. Here I have some cards, and you might do this with your teacher as well, about what do you see in the picture. A couple of things that I noticed was that Vanessa is new at school. So I noticed that by just looking at the illustrations. So I'm going to put it up here on my anchor chart. And you may also be making this with your teacher this week when you come to school. Another thing that I noticed in the story was that the little girl is worried about Vanessa. So the little girl in the yellow dress, she looked like she was worried about Vanessa. And then one more thing that I noticed is that Vanessa gets bullied. I see a bully not being very kind to Vanessa. So that's something I noticed in this story. All right, so this week there's another link to watch this book being read aloud. Which, are you reading actual words? No, you're just looking at the pictures. And then there's some different activities that you're going to do this week with illustrations and this story. I hope you enjoyed it.